Hello everyone. I am very excited to bring to you one more of my almost one of the first few of my private clients, and then a woman who went on to do all of my programs and was a participant of the Leap into Love Mastermind as well. And she is such an amazing success story. I will of course, let her talk in her own words, but first I must tell you why I'm so proud of this woman. I know Natalie from around like 2.5, 3 years now almost. And when we first met, Natalie had a very on and off, hot and cold, painful relationship. I'm sure she's going to tell you everything about it. And I remember doing our first few private sessions, and we were just talking about this guy all the time. And I remember, and she was crying and crying and really unhappy with this person. And I remember telling her at some point, like really strictly, Natalie, this work is not about this man. This work is about you, and this work is about you attracting your soulmate. And right now, I don't know if this man is your soulmate. So I really want you to get a grip, and I really want you to do this work for you and not to get a man. Today, of course, Natalie is happily engaged to be married. Chris and I are so looking forward to being there for her wedding next year in 2018. And Natalie has overcome so much. And she, to me, is an inspiring example of how your past doesn't matter when it comes to your future. You can learn the skills that work, and you can overcome all those victimhood stories, all those difficulties, all those patterns from the past when you really decide to do that. So Natalie is for me an absolutely amazing example to those women who think they are damaged goods, to those women who have hard childhoods, because this woman has gone on to overcome all of that stuff and to create the love of her life. And I'm so glad that she's here with us today, because she's going to share with you her journey and hopefully inspire all of you who feel like you can't fix yourself, who feel like you can't do anything about your issues and struggles. So Natalie, thank you for joining us this morning and for taking the time.
No worries. How are you?
Well, I'm great. Thank you. Natalie, would you like to tell us a little bit about when you first found me, where you were in your love life?
Yeah, I was, long story short, I was in a really bad place, as you said earlier. I had a lot of really bad history behind me in terms of divorced parents, moving around a lot as a child. I was even adopted myself. So I had a very complicated background. And when I met Sami, I was in a relationship with a guy, and it was just not working. It was just very, very, I was all in my masculine energy, that, struggling. I gave everything I could and felt I was getting nothing back. And as Sami said, I was just a mess. I couldn't figure out why I was getting it wrong and why I wasn't feeling wanted and needed. So I think something clicked. To be honest, I think it was seeing my two best friends getting married and being happily married. And I was like, how do they do it? How do they do it? And then by chance, I came across Sami, and something just told me, this is it. You've got to do something about this. You can't continue to keep going through these relationships and not be like your friends. Like, if I have best friends that are worthy of relationships that are so good and healthy and happy, why couldn't I have that? They're my best friends. Like, I deserve that too. I want that. So, and then I started talking to Sami, and something clicked. It was like, this is it. This is what I want. This is how it's going to work. She knows what she's talking about. It works. So yeah, that was where I was at. It was not a good place. It was a kind of, felt like a bit like a dark hole, trying to crawl out of a dark hole and seeing your friends above you, like in this light happiness. And I was like, I want to be doing it. I'm going to be there. It's going to be me too. So that's where I was at. Yeah.
You were at. And can you tell us, now that you've done the work, what were your major struggles? For instance, I remember that you were quite an overgiver and that you had quite these helping and fixing tendencies, and
Yeah.
also you were sleeping fast with men, sometimes falling for chemistry and first instant attraction. Can you tell us a little bit more about your issues now that you're aware of them?
Yeah. So I mean, Sami's work is all about even digging up issues that you never realized you had. It took me a lot of work, as you can see, like as Sami said, it took me 2.5, almost 3 years to get to where I am now. And I had to keep persisting in doing it and working on things, and new things would come up. So my main things were dealing with my past, like dealing with not feeling worthy. And my way of not feeling worthy was to overcompensate in a relationship and be the alpha female. I was always giving too much. And my job is a nanny. I'm a career nanny. So I work 12, sometimes 15-hour days where I give all day, and it's very hard to switch over back into being in your feminine energy. So that's something I really struggled with. So for the ladies out there who say, well, I'm in the caring profession, it's normal for me to give 100% to everybody else. No, not in a relationship. It really isn't. And I discovered that myself. And, there's no excuse. Sami's work is about you, and your work is something else. So, often Sami will describe it as switching hats. So I remember that every time I feel the urge to overgive or say something that's very masculine, and I think, oh no, wait, I've got to remember to switch back over. I'm not in nanny mode. I'm not in overcaring mode. So those were my main things. And so when I was becoming interested in guys and vice versa, they were becoming interested in me, as Sami said, I would jump into bed far too soon. It was always based on chemistry. I just gave myself away cheaply, and that never felt good. And having gone through this work and learned what my boundaries were, what my personal values were, what it actually meant to be me as a person, or what I wanted, completely 180 flipped things around for me. Hence why I'm engaged now. So
Can I see a ring?
Yeah. I don't know if you can see it very well.
Oh, it's got sapphires, blue sapphires and diamonds. Oh, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
I actually got to choose it as well. But, I kind of had to do it. I said to Gavin, I'd really appreciate it being your choice. I'm just a bit worried about not being able to wear it at work, because I work with such young children. I would feel horrible if I ended up accidentally scratching the kid with a big ring on my finger. So, we went looking for stuff together, and I just let him then go from there when I'd given him an idea of what I wanted. So,
oh, that's beautiful. Natalie, tell me, which of the programs did you do?
I did Leap into Love.
Mastermind. You were in the 6-month mastermind.
And I was in this 6-month mastermind, and I have to say I feel that was the one that changed everything. I have the ebook, the original ebook that Sami wrote. I have that, and I did personal coaching with her. I did coaching with you
right in the beginning. Yeah,
I did a lot of things, and when they came up, I would, I have the affirmations like a lot of the girls have as well.
Yeah.
So I really invested everything I had, and there were times when I was short of money. It was very, very difficult to make that investment, but I knew it was something that I really need to do. I felt it. There's no way you can explain it, but if you feel it right down in your stomach, in your heart, it was something I knew I had to do for myself. So I invested in all of them, but definitely the mastermind for me was the ultimate
game changer, so to speak.
Yeah, partly because it had some of the coaching in there with you privately.
Yeah.
But it was also so intense for 6 months that it really made me focus on changing my habits, not just in the short period of time, but in the long term. And because it was intense, and because we had the calls all the time, like you had to keep up with it, you had to keep doing it, and it made you think about it all the time. So it was always present in your mind.
Yeah.
So for me, that felt like it was the ultimate game changer.
And Natalie, I think this is so inspiring, because when you invested that 6K, 8K, 10K, all in all in this work, you were a nanny, and you are a nanny. And I think so many women out there can't even imagine spending that much money on something like love coaching. So, what was it for you that made you spend such huge amounts of money? What was that one thing that told you this is going to work? Was it your dream? What was it that you knew that love is for you and this is happening for you and this is your path? Or like it's a lot of money to spend. What drove you to spend this much money?
It was a lot of money. I guess what it boils down to, if I think about it just straight up, was what am I worth? What am I actually worth? What is my happiness worth to me? As a nanny, I work minimum 12-hour days. I'm currently on a kind of timeout break. Like a lot of people nowadays, I drove myself into the ground and was told by my doctor I'd be signed off with exhaustion.
Oh,
Yeah, it got pretty bad at one point, and in the end it was like, what is my happiness worth? I'm a nanny and I look after children and I love children, but I want my own family. I want to be able to build that and have the house and have my children and have a happy marriage, like I see my two best friends and like I see Sami, and it was a breaking point. Something snapped in me that just made me go, this amount of money is worth every single penny I invest, every single penny, and I have absolutely zero. I do not regret a single pound, a single euro. I switched payments as well, somewhere between the time in countries, because I moved countries during the training
yeah,
as
yeah,
well. It just really boiled down to, I am worth it.
yeah.
I'm worth it. I am, I felt tired of people controlling my life, tired of people being negative and just sabotaging all the time. I was tired of it. I got to the point where I was like, I've had enough. I've had enough. I'm going to make my life positive, and I feel that every investment in that was worth it.
And I think just your ring is making up for the mastermind. It's like if you look at what you put in and if you look at what you get, a lifetime of love and happiness and support and companionship and great sex and rings and holidays and homes together. I mean, the investment pales in comparison. And yet, that first investment is always the hardest step because I think it's hard for so many women to imagine that they can have it,
Yes.
that they can have it, like that they can have the ring, they can have what you have. And I think what sets out my successful clients differently from those who don't succeed is the belief that can I have it or can I not have it. And I really saw that belief in you at one point. I think you were in Dubai at that time when I started to feel like Natalie has had enough. Natalie is going to put herself first and she's not going to compromise.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think when a woman gets in that space, that's when the magic happens. That's what men feel. She's on the pedestal, she puts herself first, she puts her heart first, and she's not going to compromise on what she wants and desires. And it's just a switch that happens in us, when we're all about the man or we're, about ourselves. Natalie, were you rotational dating?
Funnily enough, Dubai, when I was working in Dubai, I was actually working a 24-hour day.
Wow.
Part of the reason why I ended up getting so exhausted, and as someone said, I was making that transition into, no, this is about me now. I've had enough of doing this and trying to please people all the time, and never been able to achieve what it is they wanted. I had enough. I'd done all this training with Sami. So I actually started using rotational dating as a way to get out of the house.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, I had only been dating two guys before I met my future husband. And there was no instant chemistry there. All I felt was, this is a really nice guy, I really like this guy. He's not the kind of guy that I would normally go for.
Yeah.
He's not the super sexy model attractive kind of guy, but there's just something kind of friendly and
Nice.
about him, like his personality.
Yeah.
And I'd assumed that I was going to end up going back to Dubai until I quit and I walked out of my job. I had no idea that, I think we started, our first date was in May 2017. So that's like 6 months.
Wow.
I had no idea that in less than 6 months I'd be engaged and planning 2 weddings, not one, 2 weddings.
Oh my God.
You know, we're just waiting to confirm on a house we bought as well together. So yes, I had started the process of rotational dating, and I had no intention of. I had not. It just wasn't in my mind that I was going to end up marrying this guy. You know, I just wanted to get out there and meet people and start dating decent guys.
Yeah.
So I had every intention to keep dating, and in fact, I was on Tinder. I met my husband to be on Tinder.
Wow.
So I still had the intention of, and I was still going through talking to guys, waiting for them just to say, do you want to go on a date? The fact that didn't work out that way, and my future husband took up every single moment he could possibly get hold of me, even though I had a crazy busy life. I went away to Switzerland for work at one point, so we had to wait 3 weeks to see each other. But he would persistently message me every single day, to the point I had to say to him, I'd feel happy just talking to you in person, you don't need to keep messaging me. And he was fresh out of a divorce as well. He was in the process of being divorced. He had left his ex-wife in March
Wow.
2017. And, Sami often will say men know what they want. They
Yes.
know what they want. There's no pitter-pattering around maybe ifs, buts. If they want someone, they know. And from the moment that my partner and I met each other, despite the fact we'd had all this history behind us, and he was, just coming out of a divorce, he knew straight away that I was the one for him.
Yeah.
But I still kept myself open to other opportunities until we had that conversation in September about 100% commitment to each other. At which point he rapidly clicked. He said to me, 100% commitment. What do you mean? Do you mean marriage? And I was like, yeah. And he went, oh God, I'm 100% down for that. From day one, I was 100% down for that.
Wow.
He knew. But I still, in my head, was rotational dating. I was still looking to meet other people. I wasn't closing off any doors. And I was getting on with my life in a very feminine way. So
This sounds wonderful. I think I would like to make two quick comments here. One is that you found your husband on Tinder, and or future husband, fiance. And I think this is such an important message to give out there, because women have so many limiting beliefs around Tinder and like online dating. And so many of my successful clients have found their husbands on online dating websites. So there's good men out there and there's trash out there. And I think it's just about being relaxed and understanding that, yeah, you will come across some trash, but that's like part of the deal. But there are good men out there, just like, good women are out there. Like you guys are up on Tinder, that means there are good men out there as well who are up there. So I think this is just so important, because there's so much limiting belief and so much negativity around online dating, which I really encourage women to go for. And the second message is rotational dating. I can just feel like how your vibe was not so focused and obsessed with this guy. Can you tell the ladies how you managed to not get so attached? Because I remember when we were doing our private sessions in the beginning, you were very man focused. What is he saying? What is he thinking? And I remember in the middle there was this guy from Paris that you met, who was sort of very seductive and like giving mixed signals and pulling you back, and like all that drama happening. So, and I knew that like he was messing up with your brain. And how did you not manage to get over attached and not feel like you're cheating when it comes to Gavin, and you kept rotational dating? So how was that to manage?
Funnily enough, surprisingly easy to manage. When you get to the point that I'm at now, you look back and you go, my God, that was so easy. Like, how did
How could I not do, like, how could I resist that? Yeah.
I think if I look back, it's because I'd felt that I got to the point where I felt, no, it's about me now. It's about what I want. And I now have that choice. I get to choose who I want to be with. And I will not accept anything less than, my top 50, if you want to, I had been very clear about myself, is that I had the choice to choose who I wanted to be with. They didn't get to choose me. I was the prize. Which as soon as you have that mentality, you just feel like, you feel released from having to feel linked to just one person. It I was very busy. I was looking after myself. As I said, I was almost signed off with exhaustion by my doctor, and I had decided at that point, enough is enough. I want to look after myself. I am putting myself first. And the moment I did that, it released me from this guilt of I can only be dating one guy. It was just a very surprising feeling. It wasn't something I kind of thought about at the time. My sole focus was focusing on myself and looking after myself and getting well again and just receiving. I think in my head, and even now, I still have this image of just receive, receive, receive. Like, if people want to give to you, they will.
Yeah.
But it's okay to say no. So it really helped me get past this. I need to only date one person, and yeah, it's just that, I was very clear about I want 100% commitment. And the other thing which really, really helped, especially with the chemistry thing, was that my partner and I, my fiance and I, still have not been physically intimate.
Ooh, and this is a woman from UK. She's not from my culture. Sometimes, I get critics saying, "Oh, Sami Wunder comes from a conservative culture, and that's why she teaches this." Wonderful. So proud of you. Tell us more.
Yeah, we just I even said to him up front, I'm sorry, but I feel that if I sleep with you too soon, because, he wanted to, he's a guy,
Of course. They
yeah, of
always want
course.
to.
He
Yeah.
still wants to now. And don't get me wrong, we still have fun on the side.
Yeah.
We have decided that we will wait until our wedding night to be physically 100% intimate with each other.
Yeah.
I am a modern day girl. My past history was jumping into bed with guys, a couple of weeks into knowing them, and that was my epic mistake for me. That was me not believing how much I was actually valued, not valuing myself. So those were my two top things: was not sleeping with the guy. You often say, leave it at least 3 months. I found that even leaving it 3 months was still not long enough for me.
I say like wait till marriage, but leave it 3 months is like the minimum you have to do if you want to build an emotional bond. And I think for many women out there, this idea is it's so out of the blue. It's so like crazy that they can't think about uh, waiting till marriage, waiting till engagement. Yeah. So my husband and I, we also waited and till marriage. And he's German. He had girlfriends before that he slept with on the second date. So I think it's just really the idea is so crazy and so inaccessible for so many women out there. And what do you have to say to the woman who's worried, will there be sexual compatibility? How do you know there'll be sexual compatibility if you don't sleep with the guy before marriage? What do you have to say to that? And I'll tell you what I have to say to that after your answer.
If you really think about it, from the moment you meet someone, you can feel the chemistry. If you feel the chemistry, okay, the first couple of times you might not get it right, but we're taught by Sami with her tools how to express ourselves using feelings. So there's still ways of telling the guy what it is you actually like without being bossy and manipulative or horrible about it. You can still say, this feels good, that feels good. So when the chemistry is there. And there's nothing wrong with having a little bit of fun on the side.
Yeah, so you check the apparatus and everything.
He loves to check, we actually when he comes over to stay, we still share a bed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We haven't done that 100%, which means that we know the chemistry is there. We know it's going to be fantastic when it is. And we may not get it completely right. We still talk about what we do and we don't like. We just haven't gone the full whole hog.
Yeah.
And from the moment I said that to him, he was 100% down with it. He respects me. We still do find we have difficulty. occasionally we get triggered by things. He gets triggered as well, but it is that communication
Yeah.
that we have built, which, you know, it kind of, even when you talk deeply and intimately with someone, you feel the chemistry again. It starts to kind of light up, and you're like, oh, this is going to be so good when it does happen. You know? You can feel it, you know. So that, to me, that was never a worry. And I don't honestly feel it should be a worry to any of the other girls. Like, you will know when you have chemistry with your partner that it is going to work, and you know that you have the tools from Sami to communicate what it is you do and you don't like. So it doesn't become a worry, because you know that you'll figure it out with the right guy. You know, you'll find the person who's compatible with you, because you have the tools to communicate that. And then, you know, it's a learning process. You grow with each other. So
Absolutely, absolutely. And for the women who have had sex, okay, let's say you're at the 3 month mark, 4 month mark, and you gave in, you've had sex. And let's not even call gave in, maybe you made the conscious choice that it was okay for you to have sex. I just want you to not feel deflated by this interview. You know, you will see that as a string, all my successful clients have not slept with their guys. But you know what, it's all about your vibration. So I'm really talking to you. If you've slept with the man you like and everything else is going well, don't take it as a mark that you will not go all the way with him, like to the ring, because it's all about your vibration. If your vibration doesn't change and you can handle sex like a diva and not like become more insecure or needy or clingy or get your nasty voices activated just because he hasn't called one day, if you don't do all that kind of dramatic stuff and you can be a diva still and be the woman up on the pedestal, you're going to get there, right? So this is for everyone who's watching, who has slept and is feeling really sad about the fact that they did not uphold this particular aspect of the word. Don't worry. This is not to beat yourself up. This is just to inspire you to see that, a man will respect what you want as long as you're very sure about it. So if you wanted sex and it felt good and your vibe doesn't change after sex, that's okay too. But this is what I recommend. I recommend holding back, not because it's a way to manipulate men, not because it's a way to get the ring, but because it's what makes you stand out in a man's mind. This is just man, the nature of man. There is respect for the woman who has held it out. Because if you hold it out with him, in his brain, this is about, oh, then she must have held it out with the others as well. This is a woman to be valued. And you can love it or hate it. You can call it male patriarchy, or you can, use this information to empower yourself and actually protect your own heart. Protect your own heart, because when we women sleep with men, we get attached. We get attached to their voice, we get attached to their smell, we get attached to the oxytocin that the orgasms are giving us. And then the relationship becomes much bigger in our head than it actually is for the man. So we move ahead of him energetically in the timeline. And as you can see in Natalie's case, her man is just energetically constantly ahead of her. And that is what we want, that the man is always more excited about you than you are excited about the man. It doesn't mean you're not excited. It just means he's more excited about you than you are about him. Natalie, what about your insecurities and your I am not good enough feelings? How did you manage that?
I still get them today. I'm going to be truly honest. I still feel those moments where I'm like, I'm feeling insecure. And I sit down to myself and I say, what is it that has triggered me to feel this right now?
Beautiful. Yeah.
You often say that you work on yourself as well, even though you teach this work. Like, it's true. Those insecurities are never going to go away. When I get tired, that's when my insecurities start to come.
Oh,
And
same here.
when you get tired, that's the worst time, and it's also the best time to make you realize you need to start looking after yourself again.
Yeah.
So I manage my insecurities every day, and I use the tools that Sami's taught me, and I look after myself. I feel it's now an essential part of me being me in the best way towards the rest of the world. Is if I get too tired and I start to feel insecurities, I'm like, okay, it's time to take a time out. Even if it's just to sit down for an hour and watch TV. So that is really how I manage them. I still get them every day. I still manage them using the tools that I've got, and I use it as time to treat and look after myself. And strangely enough, when I start to do that, my partner it's like he reads me. He can see that I'm getting tired, and he'll often just pop up with flowers to make me feel better, or he'll say to me, "You'd like
Oh,
a hug," or you know, he's my safe place to go to now because I feel protected by him, and he knows my energy so well now that he knows that when I'm tired, it's almost like it's subconscious for him. He'll go and do something. He'll say to me, "Would you like some tea?" Why don't I go and cook dinner whilst you watch some TV or something? So when I start to look after myself and manage my insecurities, he then starts reciprocating as well and doing the same and looking after me. And then I recover much quicker, and because I'm because of this, we've become even closer as a couple, which then allows me to explain to him, I'm feeling insecure. I feel triggered by this, and he will always be in his masculine energy and try and solve it for me or make me feel better. So
oh,
he'll often say to me, I'll protect you against this, or I'll look after you. And so even being able to open up to him and be vulnerable to him about what triggers me, what makes me insecure, or why I'm tired, will then make him step into his masculine energy and look after me.
oh, that's so beautiful. Look what you've created.
Yeah.
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 Natalie, I think this is so beautiful. It's such a beautiful message because I think sometimes women think that when they get the guy and they get the ring, the work is over, but it's not. It's only just begun. And I always say this, that your nasty voices and your insecurities and your patterns, they won't just disappear, right? You have to become friends with them. You have to have self awareness that these are my patterns, these are my voices. And then every time they arise, you have to stop, slow down, journal, meditate, give yourself positive auto suggestions and basically not act and react in your relationship from that space. Yeah, so this is a constant self-awareness thing. And I don't get any insecurities in my relationship. I don't. I mean, I my man's love just surrounds me from all sides. There's no space to feel insecure. But what I do get is like this tendency to control and be masculine. When I'm tired or I'm exhausted or I'm busy in mommy mode and businesswoman mode, I'm doing a lot. And then those are the times when I have to stop and say, okay, hubby's here, relaxing time now. Give up, switch hat, wear your red hat from Paris, not your boy hat and, doing business. So this is a constant thing. And I think this is a beautiful message coming from someone who has done so much work and still does it. Like, right? Like there can be this point where we're like, oh my God, like how much work do I have to do? Right. But no, this is a self-awareness thing. And this has impact on every aspect of our life. I'm sure you have better relationships with friends now, better relationships with your family now, or at least you can draw your boundaries, not allow everybody to drain you and just take from you. Is that true? Has it impacted other aspects of your life as well?
Absolutely 100% hands down it has. And in fact it's actually helped draw up and solve some issues, especially with my family very recently. As I said, I'm adopted, and I recently, actually the day after I met my partner, I ended up meeting my birth dad as well. So he came back into my life very recently as well, and it's had a huge impact on my actual family, my adopted family. And having moved back to the UK from France, where I was before, just the whole process has been difficult at times. It has been very difficult. I recently had a very difficult period with my family, and it was knowing who I am, and you know, just having my partner around really allowed me to kind of deal with that. It was hard. There were times when I would wake up and I would cry at night, and he would hold me and say, "It's okay, I'll look after you." But it also allowed my family to realize that I'm changing as a person for the better, and they absolutely love my partner. In fact, my mum messages him more than I message my mum. It's crazy. It's crazy. But it's dug out all the deep, horrible stuff. Things that people needed to say. Um, by me becoming more of who I feel I should be. And being with my partner, it's really dug out a lot of the past and allow people to present themselves to me and how they're feeling, and then for us to move on to a positive way of solving things. And in fact, it was a massive help with my partner, because he helped me a lot. My mum would often speak to him about it, and he would say, well, I feel that Natalie knows what she wants, what she's telling you have to let her get on with it. So he was 100% always by my side, supportive. And now, I have a fantastic relationship again with my family members that I was having.
Yay!
So there are times, it is difficult, but it actually always turns out for the positive.
Yeah.
So there's just that moment where you hold your ground and you know who you are, and people suddenly realize that you're not a baby anymore. You've become a fully fledged woman, and you know what you want. And you don't need to be horrible or shout or scream at people about it. People just learn to go, okay, this is who you are. That's fine, and if they don't want to stick around, they leave.
It's sad, but if that is right for them, fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh, this is I think for everybody watching, of course, they love your story and they feel very inspired, I'm sure. But for me, it's always like doing these interviews is such a heartening moment, because I think nobody has seen you the way I have seen you, like with those red cheeks and the tears.
Yes, I remember those days.
And I think never forgetting those days will always keep us humble and always keep us grounded and always remind us, how far we've come.
Yeah.
And it's just such a joy recording this today, because I remember you saying again and again on the group, I'm going to be one of your success stories. I'm going to be one of your success stories. And here you are, my dear, with the love of your life and planning 2 weddings, and this just really fills my heart with joy. And I'm so proud of you, Natalie. You have overcome so much to be here today.
Thank you, and I appreciate everything you've done for me as well. Sammy's very good at making sure we keep going. There are times where she's not. Are you still doing your work? Yes, I'm still doing my work.
I mean, I can be tough love at times, but you've been such a great student, darling. What would be your message to a woman who is single and is hesitating to invest the big buck? I charge for these services. I know that. I charge for the transformation I deliver. And I know this is nothing in the bigger picture, because I know once you do it, it's not a matter of if you will have your soulmate, it's just a matter of when you'll have your soulmate. So I know every woman who's doing this and will be doing this for herself, she will get there. It's just sometimes a matter of time. What do you have to say to this person?
So I guess to start with, I would say I still read a lot of the comments of the new ladies that come onto the group. I see a lot of you in the position, in your own circumstances, but in the same position I was in when I started this work. I see, I read a lot of comments about how Tinder's very negative and the type of men on there. I see a lot of you women struggling, single moms, your powerhouses, or, there's a lot of different types of women out there. But my message to you is, look really deep into your heart. Are you really truly valuing yourself? And to be honest, when I was in your position, I found it, I was not following my heart at the end of the day. I was not looking after myself. In terms of putting down the deposit, everything you put down for Sammy's work, yes, it's expensive, but what you will get out of this is far more than you've invested. Far more than, there's no way to explain how much you'll get out of this by investing in who you are. You're not investing in Sammy, you're not investing in the money, you're investing in you.
Yeah, you're not investing in me, definitely not. You're investing in yourself.
You're not. And from the outset, I had a lot of people question me, like, why are you giving so much money to this person? I was like, I don't think you quite realize that it's not about investing in Sami herself. You know, you're not paying for her to live in a house. You're investing in yourself. There's no way to explain it. You know, you have to do this. You have to take that step, and you have to really take to heart everything she teaches, because the person I am now has paid back tenfold everything I invested in myself in the beginning. As I said, you know, I'm in a position now where I'm able to plan 2 weddings. You know, I'm in a position where we've just bought a house together, so we're now.
Oh my God! And also look at that ring on your finger.
On my finger, you know, we have, in fact, we'd have 2 houses together because I also own property myself. You know, we are investing in our future life together, and I mean, there's no way I can explain the feeling of just pure happiness and just feeling solid in who you actually are as a person, and knowing what it is you want without having to feel angry and frustrated that people are not listening to you. Like, the investment is worth every single penny, because what you get out of it at the end of the day is far more than you've invested in the beginning.
And are those single girlfriends married themselves now? The ones who said, "Why are you doing love coaching?" I'm sorry, I don't want to be mean, but this is how it is, right? We don't invest in our growth ourselves, and then we pull back somebody who has the desire to do that. Yeah. And then they move forward, we don't, and we still sort of hold on to our limiting beliefs and still don't have the courage to kickstart. So I think this is so important for everybody. Surround yourself with the right people. And yeah, if you're not surrounded by the right people, then don't listen to those you're surrounded by. Listen to your voice, your gut, like Natalie did. And she did it at a time when she had nothing. Really, when Natalie invested in the Leap into Love Mastermind, she had nothing, you know, and she wasn't even sure if she was going to stay in that job in which she was in. And today, as she says, she's planning 2 weddings. She's back in her home country, owns 2 houses, for God's sake. Not even 30 years old?
Yeah, 32, yeah.
So look at what can happen for you. And there's always going to be these people who sort of pull your energy down and tell you what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing. But those are their fears, their beliefs. Don't let their fears and their beliefs guide your major decisions in life. And something like this is a major decision because it's life changing. It's life transformation. It changes you forever. Yeah. So Natalie, thank you so much once again for spending this time with us. I can't wait to be there with you, at least at one of your weddings. Chris and I will really make it. We've marked the dates, and now we're going to try our best to be there. And all the very best. We're always here for you.
Thank you so much, Sami.
I'm always here for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Bye.
Bye, Sami.
Bye-bye.